The morning Derek Stone saved a kid from a speeding truck, he had no idea he'd just reignited a war that began 30 years ago in a Baghdad alleyway. Blood doesn't wash off that easily. Not from your hands, not from your conscience, and certainly not from the memory of the man who watched you end his military career with a single word: truth. Now that man owned half the town, controlled the school board, and was teaching his son that power mattered more than integrity. Derek had come to Pinewood seeking peace, hoping to shape minds instead of ending lives. But some battles choose you, and Victor Caldwell never forgot a betrayal, even when that betrayal was simply refusing to lie about civilian bodies cooling in the desert sand. The autumn wind scattered leaves across the parking lot of Pinewood High as Derek stepped from his weathered pickup truck. 22 years since he'd left the Navy, since Baghdad, since the inquiry that destroyed Victor Caldwell's career. The school building showed its age, cracked windows, peeling paint, much like the town itself, slowly dying as the factories closed and one man consolidated power. Derek adjusted his jacket over the scar beneath, a reminder of operations he'd rather forget. Teaching history seemed like redemption once, a way to guide young people toward better choices than he'd made. His wife Grace had believed that before the cancer took her. Now their daughter Rebecca was at Stanford studying medicine, and Derek filled his days with lesson plans and the small hope that he mattered. The first warning came fast. A scream tore through the morning calm. Derek's combat instincts fired before conscious thought. A freshman stumbled backward into the street, books scattering. A delivery van barreled forward, driver distracted. Derek moved. 3 seconds of pure training compressed into action. He hit the kid hard, momentum carrying them both across the curb as brakes shrieked and rubber burned. They landed on grass, Derek absorbing impact with his shoulder. "Easy, breathe," Derek said, checking the boy for injuries. Skinny kid, glasses askew, fighting tears. "Thanks, Mr. Stone. I'm Tyler." Tyler Park. The books scattered nearby were advanced calculus, physics, college level. Heavy reading for a freshman. Tyler adjusted his glasses. "Harvard, maybe, if I can get a scholarship." "Good goal. Let's get you to class." Across the lot stood a silver Mercedes and 3 boys in expensive varsity jackets. The tallest, Ethan Caldwell, Victor's son, wore a smirk that made Derek's jaw tighten. That look was pure Victor, entitled, calculating, cruel. When their eyes met, Ethan's smirk widened into challenge. "Something amusing about near accidents, Mr. Caldwell?" Derek asked, voice level. The smirk vanished. "No, sir." Then perhaps observed from inside, bells about to ring. As if summoned, the bell sounded. Ethan glanced at his watch. A Rolex, naturally, then back at Derek with grudging respect before the arrogance returned. Principal Harriet Morrison, 60 and counting days to retirement, approached. Mr. Stone, once again proving hiring former military was wise. Everyone unharmed. "We're fine." Throughout the day, Derek felt eyes tracking him. Teachers whispered, students watched. By lunch, the rescue was school legend, but Derek recognized something darker underneath. The way people fell silent when Victor Caldwell's name arose. The fear that permeated conversations about the East Side neighborhoods where Tyler lived. "Watch yourself with the Caldwell family," warned Patricia Henderson, English department, over cafeteria coffee. "Victor owns the school board and most of the town council. I'm just here to teach." Patricia's look said she didn't believe him. The confrontation came during lunch. Tyler sat alone reading when Ethan and his crew passed. Ethan deliberately knocked Tyler's milk, soaking his textbook. "Watch it, scholarship case." Tyler stood, surprisingly composed. "You knocked it over." "Calling me a liar?" Ethan moved closer, towering over Tyler, "Just stating facts." Before Derek could cross the cafeteria, Ethan grabbed Tyler's collar. "Let's see how smart that mouth, Mr. Caldwell." Derek's command cut through the noise. "Release Mr. Park." "Now." Ethan hesitated, then slowly unclenched his fist. "We were talking. Return to your lunch." That evening, Derek's phone rang. "School board emergency meeting. Tonight, 30 minutes. When he arrived, Victor Caldwell sat at the table's head. Silver hair, perfect, tailored suit projecting authority. Beside him sat Ethan, uncomfortable in a blazer clearly donned for the occasion. "Mr. Stone," Victor said smoothly, "we're discussing your aggressive behavior toward students." Derek remained standing. "I intervened in bullying. My son describes you singling him out, showing favoritism." The game became clear, Victor weaponizing the board to remove Derek before anyone asked why. But Derek hadn't survived 3 tours by backing down. "Perhaps we should discuss the real issue," Derek said. "You and I served together. Baghdad, 91. You've held a grudge for 30 years because I reported your violation of orders that killed 3 civilians." The room froze. Victor's knuckles whitened on his pen. "That's classified," Victor hissed. "The inquiry findings are public record. You disobeyed orders pursuing an unauthorized target. 3 civilians died, including a 12-year-old girl. You tried to falsify the report. My testimony ended your military career." Ethan stared at his father, confusion bleeding into doubt. "This is irrelevant," Victor snapped. "It establishes your bias. This meeting, called on short notice when half the board couldn't attend, isn't about my conduct. It's about settling old scores." Principal Morrison picked up the inquiry document Derek had brought. "Is this accurate, Mr. Caldwell?" "We're discussing Mr. Stone's behavior." "Dad." Ethan's voice was quiet, but cut through. "Is it true?" For a moment, Victor's facade cracked. "Military operations involve difficult. Did you lie in your report?" Victor avoided his son's eyes. "We need to focus on—" Morrison stood. "I recommend postponing any vote until the full board can convene. Given the potential bias, this should be tabled." The other board members nodded, relief evident. Victor gathered his papers with jerky movements. "This isn't over, Derek," he said quietly. "It never is with you, Victor." Derek drove home through Pinewood's divided landscape, prosperity west, decay east. That night, he found Ethan sitting on his porch steps. "I need to know if it's true," the boy said. "What you said about my father." Derek invited him inside. Over the next hour, he explained Baghdad, the hostage extraction gone wrong, Victor's reckless pursuit of personal glory, the civilians caught in crossfire, the cover-up attempt. "Why tell me this?" Ethan asked finally. "Because you're old enough for truth. And because I think there's more to you than what you show at school. He told me to make your life hell, said you were the enemy. That's his choice. What's yours?" Ethan left without answering, but Derek saw the doubt taking root. The next days brought escalation. Someone broke into the school, stealing only files related to Derek and Ethan. Police Chief Raymond Davis, Victor's friend, began investigating Derek as the prime suspect. Then Tyler appeared at Derek's door with a flash drive. "My grandfather and I found something," Tyler explained. "Mr. Vance. He used to work for Caldwell Industries. He's been documenting everything." The flash drive revealed Victor's scheme. Systematically buying East Side properties at depressed prices while secretly planning a casino development. Once gambling was legalized through a ballot measure he'd funded, he'd use eminent domain to seize remaining properties, including Tyler's grandfather's house. Worse, the documents showed Victor paying off Superintendent Wallace, Chief Davis, and 3 county board members through shell companies. "This is dangerous information, Tyler. He's already planning to take our home." "What do we have to lose?" Derek contacted Frank Dunn, an attorney who'd fought Victor before and lost. Together they leaked the story to the Cedar Rapids Gazette. The article broke like a bomb. Front-page exposure of the casino scheme, the payoffs, the corruption. Victor responded with fury, sending private security contractors to intimidate everyone involved. But Derek, Tyler's grandfather Walter, a Navy cook from World War II, Patricia, and others scattered and regrouped. By morning, the story had spread beyond Victor's ability to suppress it. The school board hearing became a public spectacle. Derek presented evidence of the corruption pattern. Tyler testified about the intimidation. Elena Martinez, whose husband Victor had framed years earlier, provided financial documentation. Then Ethan entered, pale but determined. "My father ordered me to lie," Ethan told the board. He played a recording of Victor instructing him to falsify testimony against Derek. "I'm done being part of his manipulation." The confrontation between father and son was devastating, decades of control shattering in moments. Chief Davis appeared unexpectedly, announcing he'd cleared Derek and was investigating Victor's payments. "My daughter respects you, Mr. Stone. That matters more than keeping my job." The board voted unanimously. Derek reinstated with full back pay. Victor was asked to resign. The casino project collapsed. Superintendent Wallace and the corrupted board members faced criminal investigations. Victor left Pinewood, retreating to corporate headquarters, but not before his final words: "This isn't over." 3 months later, Derek coached the wrestling team, watching Ethan patiently help Tyler perfect a takedown. The unlikely friendship symbolized Pinewood's transformation. The East Side formed a development coalition, trust slowly rebuilt. People stood straighter, spoke freer. Then Ethan called, voice strained. "My father sent me documents by accident. Plans for private military contracts in the Middle East with someone named Al-Masri. And there's a note about your daughter Rebecca at Stanford. He's targeting her as leverage." Derek stared at the documents Ethan forwarded. Al-Masri, the target Victor had pursued unauthorized in Baghdad, the decision that started everything. Victor was returning to that world, extending his reach beyond Pinewood, threatening Rebecca. The battle for Pinewood was won, but a larger war loomed. Derek reached for his phone, calling his former commanding officer. "Jim, it's Derek Stone. We have a situation. Outside, spring arrived, green shoots pushing through soil, new beginnings." But Derek knew some enemies never stopped fighting. Victor had crossed the line by threatening Rebecca, and that changed everything. The teacher had found peace. Now the soldier was awakening. Whatever came next, Derek would face it the same way he'd faced Victor's corruption in Pinewood, with truth, courage, and the certainty that some battles chose you, whether you wanted them or not. The war with Victor Caldwell had entered its most dangerous phase, stretching from Pinewood's quiet streets to the shadows of the Middle East, a reckoning 30 years in the making, far from finished.